Hey students, welcome to Excel Tuitions. Today we will see tenses, the most important part of English grammar. So first we'll see simple present tense. We took a verb write. I write a letter. You write a letter. He writes a letter. She writes a letter, or it writes a letter. We write a letter and they write a letter. Simple past tense. So, I wrote a letter. Past tense of write is wrote. So, you wrote a letter. Then he, she, it wrote a letter. That means he wrote a letter, she wrote a letter, and it wrote a letter. We wrote a letter and they wrote a letter. Simple future tense. Future means we have to add here will. So I will write a letter, you will write a letter, he, she, it will write a letter. We will write a letter and they will write a letter. Fourth one is present continuous or progressive tense. In this, we have to add ing to the verb. That is, I am writing a letter, you are writing a letter, he, she, it is writing a letter, and we are writing a letter, and they are writing a letter. Past continuous or progressive tense. So continuous means we have to add ing, and past means was or were. So I was writing a letter, then you were writing a letter, he, she, it was writing a letter. That means he was writing a letter, she was writing a letter. We were writing a letter and they were writing a letter. Future continuous progressive tense. Future continuous or progressive tense. This I will be writing a letter. That means we are adding here will be and ing also. So I will be writing a letter. You will be writing a letter. He, she, it will be writing a letter. And we will be writing a letter. They will be writing a letter. Present perfect tense. I have written. Perfect means have written. So I have written a letter. You have written a letter. He, she, it have written a letter. And we have written a letter. Same way, they have written a letter. And past perfect tense. It is have become had. So I had written a letter, you had written a letter, he, she, it had written a letter, and we had written a letter, they had written a letter. Now let us see how the sentences changes in future perfect tense. So I will have written a letter. So because it is future, will is added to have written. So I will have written a letter. You will have written a letter. He, she, it will have written a letter. We will have written a letter. And they will have written a letter. In present perfect progressive tense, progressive means we are adding ing, and present perfect means have been writing. So I have been writing a letter. You have been writing a letter. He, she, it have been writing a letter. We have been writing a letter and they have been writing a letter. In past perfect progressive tense, I had been writing a letter. You had been writing a letter. He, she, it had been writing a letter. We had been writing a letter and they had been writing a letter. Future perfect progressive tense. Here future means we have added will. So I will have been writing a letter. I will have been writing a letter. You will have been writing a letter. He will have been writing a letter. She will have been writing a letter. And we will have been writing a letter. They will have been writing a letter. Thanks for watching. Do share and subscribe for more such videos.